Hello, thanks for tuning in and for your interest in learning more about the WayMaker community, the Forge cohorts, and how we're leveraging technology to accomplish our mission. So, the WayMaker community is founded upon the principle that within each of us is a significant amount of potential that can still be unleashed. And it was created to solve a problem that I had in my own life and that I was seeing in the lives of my fellow veterans. And that was the lack of purpose and drive that came inherently while being part of the military. And that was stripped away when exiting the service and therefore needed to be defined for myself and for the lives of those who I'm walking along with. So the WayMaker community does this by bringing together like-minded individuals into close daily conversation and community through Forge cohorts. And we do that by contributing every single day as a lifestyle choice to our forges. That contribution is aimed to answer the question, how is it that I'm pursuing my why today? And if you don't know what your why is, don't worry. We have exercises in place to help identify that and bring it into clarity as a living document that you can continue to work on and hone over time. Additionally, we are able to go long form in this commitment because the daily commitment is very minor. And that is because we're aiming at a 1% improvement per day. If we can improve at least 1% per day, then that will create compounding progress for ourselves over time. So back to what is contribution. Contribution answers the question of how is it that I'm pursuing my why today? How is it that I'm closing the gap between who I am now and who I want to become, or i.e. a waymaker? And that takes form in a couple of ways. It could be a couple of very intentional sentences that speak to the efforts you intend for the day or have accomplished. It can take form in a video or pictures. And oftentimes it takes form in sharing what your personal physical training regimen for the day was. Why is that often used? Because when we train as physical beings, we're exercising sovereignty over our lives through the act of training. So on many days when things are contested, time short, traveling, kids, you're founding a business, there's all these things going on, you have big reports to do, whatever the case is, you can always get in at least a quick body weight movement and knock that out and contribute that to your forge. Or you can share some reflections from the day or something that impacted you that helped you to close the gap between who you are and who you want to be and accomplishing your why. And by doing any of those things, you contribute to your group. Now, what happens if you miss a contribution? Well, the standard is extremely simple. And if you miss, you are excommunicated. That's right, you will no longer be part of the forge. The good news is you can regain entrance, and you can regain entrance by performing a physical gauntlet that is provided to you and takes into account any injuries and equipment limitations, things like that, but is provided to you by your forge within your forge's arena. Once you accomplish that gauntlet, you share the journey of actioning it, and then you share reflections on why is it you want to continue with the forge? What value does it bring to you? Why does it matter to you? Once you've shared that, it opens up to your forge for questions. Anyone who has concerns or questions about your involvement, that is the time that they get to present them. And then, because every forge is a fellowship of free men, everyone gets to vote on whether or not you've earned reentrance. And as in most fellowships of this nature, a unanimous vote is required to regain reentrance. Now, what's beautiful is by taking personal ownership over the miss, by actioning the reentrance contribution, and by stating your thought process on it, we have not had an individual be voted out yet. What does occur is some powerful questions, some radical candor, some accountability in the questions and conversations that surround this discussion that make it even more impactful to be part of your forge and continue with your forge in question. So that is an overview of the WayMaker community and the forge itself. Now, in addition to that, we are working to leverage technology to provide each member with the ability to have a purpose-driven coach that partners with you to create impact and significance in your life. And that is WayMaker AI. And all of this rests upon the body of work that's demonstrated in the 5 books that I've published to date, as well as a broad source of data from major world religions, psychology, philosophy, and best practices from multiple industries. This all comes together in the WayMaker ethos and way, the community itself, and the different tools that we are creating to leverage the unleashing of human potential within the breast of each of us. Now, what's really beautiful is we see an acute problem within our veteran community, typically between 6 and 18 months of exiting service. And that is where this has become most valuable for many of the members that are currently in it. Once someone gets out, they take care of getting a job and all of that, and then they realize, oh, the honeymoon of being out of service is fading, and the camaraderie and purpose that I had from service is also gone. That's when this often becomes very attractive. But it's not just for veterans. We have also found that there are moments of awareness for Americans coast to coast that occur when some level of success has been accomplished or significant life transition is occurring, and there's a need to identify what is the next milestone, what is the next thing worth pursuing, what is my life going to amount to? All of those questions are answered when you embrace the WayMaker ethos and join the community. Not by someone who hands you a canned answer, but by the encouragement that comes through the fellowship of you putting in the work for yourself to answer those questions for yourself in a manner that is meaningful, impactful, and powerful. And that is why we have such dedicated members now, and why it is important that this resource and these efforts do not go unestablished and unshared. Thank you for watching this video and for listening. Should you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. And I look forward to speaking to you soon and hope to welcome you into the community. Forge forward.